Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through this today because, honestly, we're looking at something that is essentially a brand new superpower for creators and builders. We're going to explore the fascinating journey of transforming a raw, unformed idea into a fully deployed, full-stack application. And the absolute best part? It is more accessible right now than it has ever been in human history. Okay, let's dive into this.
Just think about that for a second. If you've ever had a truly brilliant idea for an app, but then immediately felt completely blocked by the technical hurdles of actually coding it, what would it mean to just describe it out loud? What if you could turn that raw spark of an idea into a functioning, deployed application in literally minutes, without writing a single line of manual code yourself? It sounds like absolute magic, right? But as we're going to see today, it is very, very real. Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to define what an app actually is, dive into the vibe coding revolution, meet your new digital co-founders Ajath and Maya 4, unpack the power of parallel agents, and finally, get you ready to start building.
Okay, kicking things off with Section 1. What is an app? Let's demystify the core components of software.
Before we can even talk about how AI is completely revolutionizing software, we need a solid foundational understanding of what we're actually building. We have to deconstruct an app down to its first principles. At its absolute core, every single application boils down to three primitives: the user interface, the database, and the business logic that bridges them. The UI is what your users actually interact with. The database securely manages the data state. And the business logic? That dictates the rules connecting the two. That is the underlying architecture of literally every single app you use on a daily basis.
I love this analogy straight from Google Cloud's documentation because it brilliantly illustrates the concept by comparing these traditional app components to building a house. HTML is your structure, the wooden frame and the foundation of your house. CSS is the style, so the paint, the flooring, the furniture that makes it actually look appealing. And the logic and database? Well, that's the plumbing and electrical wiring hidden behind the walls that makes the house livable and functional. Traditionally, you had to be a master electrician, plumber, and architect all at once to build this, but not anymore.
That brings us right to Section 2, the vibe coding revolution. This is all about the massive paradigm shift happening in software development.
AI pioneer Andrej Karpathy absolutely hit the nail on the head with this one. He said, the hottest new programming language is English. And that validates that vibe coding isn't just some quirky passing trend. It is a massive industry evolution. It empowers you, the builder, to stop acting like a human calculator just memorizing syntax and start acting as a creative director who's guiding an intelligent system.
The contrast here is just staggering. Traditional coding meant weeks of setting up your environment, agonizing over a single missing semicolon, getting stuck in these brutal, heavy debugging loops, and working in total isolation. It was painful, it was costly, and it was incredibly slow. Vibe coding, on the other hand, is driven entirely by plain English intent. You get instant, zero setup infrastructure. The AI generates the code for you, making the whole process highly accessible. It really is development distilled down to its absolute essence. Your intent turned instantly into output.
So this new reality rests on three main pillars. First up is AI-assisted coding, where tools generate the actual code straight from your natural language. Second is prompt engineering, which is honestly your new primary skill, the ability to craft really precise, clear instructions. And third, AI-native workflows. This means using platforms that are designed from the ground up to support fast, iterative deployment loops rather than just endlessly pasting code back and forth.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 3. Meet Ajath and Maya 4, your hyper-efficient digital co-founders. Now, what's really wild to think about is the sheer horsepower running under the hood of the Ajath platform. It doesn't just rely on one single AI brain. It connects to over 400 active models across more than 70 providers. We are talking about utilizing the absolute bleeding edge of global AI technology, which is exactly why it already serves over 1 million global users. You basically have an entire ecosystem of intelligence right at your fingertips.
But having smart AI just isn't enough on its own. You need the right environment to actually use it. Enter Ajath's Infinite Canvas. This is a totally unconstrained space where you can visually tweak the design of your app, moving buttons around, changing layouts, while the AI quietly handles all that messy plumbing and electrical code underneath. You can build mobile apps, web apps, and landing pages all in one single project. There's no context switching, just pure creative flow.
And going back to our house analogy for a second, Ajath doesn't just paint the walls, it installs enterprise-grade plumbing instantly. It gives you full-stack, zero-setup infrastructure. From day one, you've got authentication to manage secure logins, a database to store user information, instant web hosting, and monitoring to track the app's health. Plus, you can connect to over 100 external integrations, like Stripe for payments or OpenAI for advanced features. You aren't just building a pretty UI here. You are building a fully scalable business.
Moving on to Section 4, the power of parallel agents. This is where we look at moving beyond single-thread generation.
If you look around at the wider landscape, relying on simple front-end generators often means hitting a technical brick wall pretty fast. A tool like Lovable is great for a polished UI, but it forces you to rely on third-party backends. Emergent gives you autonomy, but it can rapidly burn through paid compute credits if it gets stuck in an endless loop, which, is a really great way to accidentally empty your wallet. Replit offers a transparent cloud IDE, but comes with a massive learning curve if you don't already know how to code. Ajath, however, is laser-focused on enterprise scale, uniquely utilizing parallel agents and its own native infrastructure.
So here's the really crucial point about how this architecture functions. Older AI builders were chronological. They were single-thread bots, doing step 1, then step 2, and frequently just freezing up in these awful debugging loops, trying to connect the front end to the back end. Ajath's Maya 4 completely flips that. By utilizing parallel agents, you can submit tasks in any order, and up to 10 specialized AI agents will handle your authentication, your database structuring, and your visual design all at the exact same time. It intelligently sequences your requests without freezing up.
And the real-world impact of this is profound. Thierry Ishimwe-Leon, the founder of Exhibine, noted that the ability to quickly iterate on a design while simultaneously deploying robust full-stack infrastructure drastically reduces their time to market. This parallel agent workflow is the exact one-two punch that turns a weekend prototype into a viable, scalable startup. Which brings us to our final act, Section 5. Ready to start building? Let's talk about bringing your ideas to life on learn.ajath.us.
If you're still wondering if this is truly the future, get a load of this statistic. In Y Combinator's Winter 2025 batch, which is literally one of the most prestigious startup accelerators in the world, 25% of the startups built 95% of their code utilizing AI. Let that sink in. Lean teams utilizing AI-native building is no longer some fringe experiment. It is the new, definitive industry standard for moving fast and staying competitive.
Let's move to and see how this builds out practically. Because Ajath is incredibly accessible to start with. The starter tier is completely free, giving you 100,000 free tokens and daily credits to build one project and just explore that infinite canvas. When you're ready to scale up, the core tier is just $15 a month, unlocking 2 parallel agents for you. And for serious commercial builds, the Pro tier at $89 a month gives you the full power of 10 parallel agents working simultaneously, plus enterprise features like 28-day database rollbacks. The barrier between a raw, creative idea and a fully functional app has literally never been thinner. You no longer have to be a master of syntax or complex infrastructure to bring your vision out into the world. You just need clear intent. So I want to leave you with this final thought. With a tireless, hyper-efficient digital co-founder at your fingertips, ready to handle the plumbing, the electrical, and the framing, what will you build today? Claim your superpower, head over to learn.ajath.us and start vibe coding. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy building.